Yee, this has to be one of the most requested things. For the uninitiated, this is Kanye West's stem player. It's a strange color. It's very strange. And it's very fleshy. But not crappy. I mean, like, you can barely see the seam in the silicone. It's actually made really nice. I heard it's meant to resemble a stress reliever or something. Everything's soft. So stem play isn't just an edgy name. Like, in music creation, stems are like groups of sounds, like the drums and percussion all together, all the vocalists together. This is important for mastering because making changes to suit one instrument will affect all of them. So having all the instruments either separate or in groups called stems, you have way more control over the final mix. So the stem player allows you to play with those stems, like, take the drums out, take the bass out. It's got Kanye's music preloaded onto it, which is especially designed for the stem player. But the big kicker with this guy is you can upload your own music to it. Yeah, just MP3s, drag them on, and boom, you can play with the stems. There are caveats as to how well it works and what kind of music works best, but the best way to show you is with a demo. It does have a speaker in it, but as you'd imagine, it's less suck. But mate, at least it's got a headphoney jack, mate. So I'm just gonna aux this in right into the disc. So I've loaded this guy with some YouTube music, which I'm allowed to play with, and let's have a listen. All right, hold down the dingus guy. Bazinga. So, vocals, bass, chords and things, and the drums. I love when you pause, it goes, ew, and then, That's a fun little touch, Mr. West. That's cool. That's really cool. It's that's so neat. So it's not perfect. I mean, as you hear, as I drag stuff out, other instruments start to change a little bit. Like, they get grainier. They're not as crisp anymore. I mean, and that's because, like, it's using all the different frequencies and trying to chop the instruments out. But for instance, like the ride cymbal and all the top end stuff in the drums is where reverb lives in the top end of the piano, but the piano can go lower than a bass guitar. And so that means the low end of the piano can get into the bass part. And before anyone chimes in and goes, oh, you could probably do better on the software and what, well, honestly, not really. This is about what you can get. I mean, considering that this is just an MP3 that I've dragged on there and it's pulling it apart. You lose quality, but it's neat. Just to throw this guy off, I put some other stuff on here. Naturally, it's only piano, so it doesn't matter. Good old-timey music. Yeah, piano pieces, of course, there's only one instrument. And old-timey music, it just smashes it all into one thing. But this isn't all it does, so let's go back to Scarlet Fire. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can play with on the fly. I mean, like, a lot of Kanye's biggest hits are remixes and all that sort of thing. Check this out. There's extra settings. And then you can go backwards. But then the thing is, you can loop sections. Yeah. I mean, playing with the jazz songs, you can make some pretty avant-garde stuff. Because it's awesome, it actually quantizes the song, like it figures out what the tempo is. So all you do is you just boink and smack at it, and it does it all for you. Yeah, the quality isn't perfect. It's, you know, it's what you'd expect from doing this with music, and like, it's pretty stinking neat. Alright, let's talk the details. It's 200 Freedom Eagles, which ain't cheap for a weird skin-colored Yee-Nug with only 8 gig storage. Yes, 8 gigs. Where you have to use the website itself to upload music to it. Yeah, no drag and drop. You have to use their website. The site has a vibe. It's like as if Kanye made it himself from his phone, but I actually like it. I mean, no distractions, straight to the point. But annoyingly, you can only use Chrome. Only Chrome. I use Safari because the only time in my life that I've had a virus on my Mac was through Google Chrome. But you know, $200 for a UI, which really is a head mess. It is not intuitive. It took me ages to figure out how to actually get music on and do the do. It really is more like an instrument. I mean, like, you get the hang of it and then it's a total piece of cake. But yeah, first go on this guy was confusing. But all you guys asked me to look at this only recently, but the Yee-Nug has been out for months. It's because Kanye decided to release his latest album, Donda 2, exclusively on the stem player. Naturally, that caused quite a stir. and it goes two ways, because he did it as a protest against how messed up the recording industry is, how stinking little artists actually get, yet it's their content that's making the money. Kanye turned down a $100 million contract with Apple to put it on his own thing. And look, I was a full-time musician before this channel, and big corporate businesses will treat you like gold right up until they don't need you anymore. Then, poof, they really would look at you like, who are you again? So, yeah, I felt the sting, and it's real, and I'm sure he found it very liberating to tell Apple to stick it up him. But then, on the other side, you have Kanye fans paywalled out of his latest content, and as a content creator myself, like, I know that content can mean the world to people. I've had people message me to say that they didn't commit suicide because they found my content. And you betcha that's heavy stuff, and it means a lot. Wow. In my lowest points, having something great to watch or listen to has always been a pick-me-up for me. And so, you know, there are a lot of people who really want to listen to Donda 2, but they're not in a position where they can buy the Yee-Nug. And then you have tech enthusiasts saying, ultimately, well, this should just be an app. Why is it a Yee-Nug? But as I said earlier, this is more like an instrument. And I gotta tell you, touchscreens don't make fun instruments. We're humans, we like how things feel, and it's nice to have an actual thing in your hand. Yeah, all the tools to play with music like this are already out there. But this is all about convenience. You don't have to learn software. You just drag it on and play about. And for most people, that's the experience they want with this. And, you know, it really could be the bug bite for someone to really get into remixing, and then the next thing could be a DAW and a workstation. Never knock stuff that seems incredibly casual, because again, my whole YouTube career began with GarageBand and iMovie on an iPad. The Donda 2 release thing is a thing. You shouldn't be buying this just for Kanye's album. You should be buying this because you're interested in what it does and what I've shown you. It does exactly what it sets out to do, And I found it really neat. I actually loved playing with this thing. The Yeenug. It's pretty stinking neat. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Huge thanks to my patrons, especially these stinky names right here, because, mate, $1 a month, I direct your videos. Yep, thank you. I can afford the Yeenug thanks to folks like you. So, and mate, if you think this guy's a bit of a weirdo, then you haven't seen the lip tunes. Mate, it's an MP3 player in the shape of lipstick. So we're gonna have a giggle and a laugh at the really crappy looking nuggo. So thanks so much, and mate, I'll see you all next time. So like we're looking at Frank here on top of a house, but if we like follow this really smelly road, through Frank's villa, as she knocked over things, we're still going. Frank's still going. Her bum's in this house. Frank, you're occupying 2 houses. Frank? Frank, wait, Frank.